What's up, family? It's your girl, D. Ray, the Divine Relationship Alchemist, helping you heal your relationship with self to heal your relationship with others. So I'm back. It's been a while. Man, I'm going like week spans without making a video. And according to the YouTube algorithm, that's not the best thing, but oh well. Okay? Because what I'm here to talk about today is the ebb and flow in spirituality. Right? These phases that we go through within our spiritual journey, ebb and flow. And all things has ebb and flow. That's like the ocean, that's like the moon. That's everything in life has ebb and flow. Or another word for it could be polarity or even rhythm, all of these universal laws, right? And so when I'm talking about the ebb and flow in spirituality, I'm talking about those times to where maybe you feel disconnected. Maybe you don't feel as strong within your spiritual connection. Maybe you're just not on your spiritual square like you've been in the past. Say meditating every day, affirmations every day. Maybe you're not feeling inspired. Maybe that creative energy is not channeling through to you. Maybe you're not receiving downloads and things like that. That's the ebb aspect in spirituality. And that's the part that I actually want to talk about today. Because I feel like I've been in that ebb state of being. About a week or two ago, I'm making videos like this. They just coming. The creative ideas just coming. And then for the past like week and a half or so, I haven't truly felt inspired. And like I said before, I only make videos based off of the channels that I receive. And so I've been in that ebb state of being within my spiritual journey. Because again, I only make videos based off of insights and aha moments that I get. And I hadn't had any aha moments in about the past week and a half or so. And so I want to talk about that because today it hit me. Duh, this is what you got to talk about, D-Ray. So first thing I want to mention is what my lane is. In Panic's video, the subliminal warfare video, the little bit that I watched of it, he said that everybody has their niche, okay? What they teach, what is their, what is your lane? What are you really going to invest yourself in, into knowing and learning and being able to display and express creatively to help other people in their journeys? And mine is healing, period. And it's healing your relationship with yourself. And a part of healing your relationship with yourself is healing your relationship with your intuition, your higher self. So in the moments when you're in that ebb state of being, when you don't feel like you're receiving the channels that you need to, I'm about to tell you right now how to heal that, or how to correct that, this space and time that you're in. Because, it happens. It happens all the time in our spirituality. And I feel like we never talk about it. I feel like in the spiritual community, I don't think I've ever saw a video of someone talking about these moments to where they kind of feel disconnected from spirit. And I'm not talking about like in the severe states, like you're feeling depressed and things of that nature. But I'm just talking about you just kind of feel just like, like, okay, I know what all of this spirituality is, but it just is what it is, right? And so again, that ebb state of being in spirituality means, you're not receiving the spiritual channels. You're not receiving the downloads. You're not feeling inspired. You're not investing in your spiritual journey, meaning making sure you're doing your meditations, making sure you're doing your affirmations. Excuse me. Okay? And so why does that even happen? Well, the first reason why that happens, you got to think about the law of polarity, right? Whenever we don't feel truly rooted and grounded in our spirituality, the main problem and the number one problem that I can think of that causes that to happen is we're too invested in the mundane. We're too invested in the human realm. We're too invested in this physical realm. And that's what happens. And I know for me, I have a life coaching business, and I have a lot of young clients, teenage girls that I've met when I coached volleyball, when I used to teach and all of that good stuff like that. Their parents has trusted me to give their girls guidance. And so I've been having a lot of dealing with organizing when I would have each one of them come in, organizing and figuring out in my mind how I can give my best to them, right? And so I've been too invested in the mundane human realm, right? And by law of polarity, something has to suffer, and that's rhythm too. Something has to suffer. So if I'm investing so much time into this human nature, then naturally the opposite side of that, my spirituality, is going to suffer to the equal degree, right? So if I'm investing 50% of my mental energy and my emotional energy and my time into figuring this out, then 50% of my spiritual nature, 50% of, my meditation and my creativity and my creation is going to be depleted and taken away from. So it's so important to understand this balance, okay? This balance. And so what I've done, well, let me stay focused on what causes it. So that's the first thing. You're too invested in the mundane. You're too invested in the human. You're giving way more energy to your human aspect and these earthly issues. And of course, by law, your spiritual side has to suffer a little bit. Another way that this happens is we have absorbed too much of the energies around us, right? So we're not honing in on our own spiritual energy. We're not feeling like ourselves. We're not feeling connected like we usually are because we're still harboring onto, the energies of the people that we are engaging and interacting with. That's a whole nother conversation within itself, right? Being able to engage in conversation, especially like me, doing this life coaching and this spiritual advising and things of that nature. I talk to people and I care, so I'm listening, and I'm listening with my whole heart. But what I just realized I had to learn in doing that, like right now, I have to be able to release myself of their energy, release myself of their thought processes, release myself of their problems so that their problems don't become my problems, right? It's not a conscious thing that happens. But if you don't have a practice, if you don't have a spiritual practice or a spiritual meditation that helps you to actually release the energy of those people you engage with, then your whole auric field, your whole energy gets kind of clouded. And if your mind, this is unconscious, right? If your mind and energy is infiltrated with the energies and the thoughts of all the people around you, then of course you will not feel connected because you're connected to an energy that is not yours, all right? So that will also have you in that ebb state of being to where you don't feel the fluidity of your spiritual nature happening, right? You feel like you're having to force. And that's another thing. If you are forcing anything, you're not aligned with spirit, right? If you have to make something happen, you're not aligned with spirit, right? And so how do we actually deal with that? What I've decided to do over this past week, and it's worked. Thank you, Spirit. It worked. Because now I'm here making this video right now. A week ago, a couple of days ago, I was like, damn, I ain't made a video in a while. What am I going to talk about? 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 And kind of was just waiting on Spirit to send me something. But Spirit said, how about you just meditate every day? Right? And see what happens. And so that's what I decided to do. Every day, I'm just meditate. So it doesn't just have to be meditation, family. I want you, if ever you feel in that ebb state of being where you just don't feel connected, or you're not feeling inspired, you're not receiving these creative ideas, you're not receiving these downloads, this information that you need, that you are used to experiencing, that state of being, that connectedness to spirit that you're used to having, them aha moments that be coming like left and right that you're used to having, choose one spiritual thing to do a day. All right. And your spirit will let you know what that one thing needs to be. It may be meditation. It may be visualization. It may be that it's now time for you to really get serious into decoding your dreams. It may be programming your water or talking to your water. It may be affirmations. It may be picking up a book. Like, it may just be picking up a spiritual book and reading it, right? But get intentional about doing at least one thing spiritual a day. Right? So for me, for the rest of this week, it was like, okay, I didn't make a video today, but you know what? I meditated today. Period. I meditated today. That's it. So Choose one thing to do that you know is going to connect you with spirit. And that's not to say that my meditations have been great. I've still had thoughts flowing through my mind and things of that nature, but I set the intention that I was going to do something spiritual today. I was going to do something that was going to benefit my spiritual side, that was going to cultivate my spiritual energy. So choose one thing to do spiritual a day. And one thing is just to start. One thing is just to start, just to reignite your spiritual flame, right? 2, set your intentions for the day upon waking up. So when you realize that you still have life in this physical body, that you're still here, say, you know what? I'm going to have a spiritual experience today, which leads me to the next thing. Seek out spirituality, right? You have to find the spirit in the mundane. Thank you, Spirit. You got to find the spiritual experiences in the mundane situations. Bobby Hemmett said that. He said it's always spiritual things happening. It's always spiritual things happening, but our awareness, we haven't trained our minds to be able to see the spiritual things that are happening and act on it, right? Or to say, oh, I see you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. I seen that. I caught that, right? So, 1, you want to wake up and set your intentions for spirituality. You want your day to be spiritually led. So upon waking up, of course, first and foremost, the first thing you always want to do upon waking up is thank yourself, thank your higher self that you are here. Okay, I'm alive. Thank you. All right. Thank you, my children, my husband, my mate. You know, my family is still alive and breathing. Have gratitude for that. Okay? Because if you're still here, that means that you still have work to do. You still have more God realizing to do. And so that's the first thing. But after you do that, set your intention on what you plan to experience in this day. Right? And when you do that, your spiritual awareness, that's the third eye actually. Your third eye kind of stays out on the lookout for these spiritual experiences. You're able to look past what's happening in the physical aspect and see the spirit behind it, right? You're able to see the spirit in all situations. And then you start to realize, whoa, I'm actually still very much so connected. I'm still very much so connected to spirit. So your ego will have you thinking, you're not having these creative hunches to go and do this, to go and do that. You ain't really connected, right? That's ego, right? Because for me, when I cook a meal, I'm in spirit, all right? When I cook food, literally, I'm in spirit. And that's why all my food tastes good as hell, right? I'm in spirit. And so I have to honor that. I have to honor that aspect of myself and that creativity. When I clean my house, I'm in spirit, right? I'm in spirit. So you have to find the spirit in the mundane situations, right? And then another thing that you want to do in order to tap back in and get back into the flow state of spirit is surrender. You want to release that resistance. You want to release the resistance to what is. So if your mind is like, okay, I haven't been really feeling in the flow state or whatever, you don't want to resist that, right? You want to just let it go. Hey, it is what it is. I'm not feeling that flow. It is what it is. I'll release it. Obviously, there's something in this essence that spirit is aiming to actually teach me, right? So you want to surrender. And it's funny because if you've never heard India Arie's song River Rise, this is what she's actually talking about in this song. And she's like, I was about to sing it, but then I just stopped. But anyway, she's basically talking about how sometimes you can, you feel like you're flying blind, and you're just desperate for that inspiration, for that sign that says, hey, spirit, that says, hey, you, spirit, I'm still here. All right. And what you have to do to open yourself up to be receptive to those creative hunches and to those aha moments, you got to surrender to what is in the moment. You got to humble yourself, right? You definitely got to humble yourself and detach from the things that you think you know already. That's a whole nother topic. Detach from the things that you think you know already. Surrender and open yourself up for spirit to actually channel through to you. All right. So you got to do that. You got to surrender. You got to let that infinite spiritual, that void, that ka, that energy that has no shape and form. When you surrender and you release resistance, you allow that infinite spirit to come through you and actually guide you and give you whatever it is that you need. But if you are resisting the state of being that you're in right now, right? If you're resisting it, then you're constricted and you're not giving way for something new to come through. All right. And then lastly, again, you got to clear out energy. You got to clear out energy. So grounding and visualizations, actually seeing these energies kind of release from you. All right. Of course, you know, the sage and stuff, that's good. But sometimes you got to go a little bit deeper. So you probably want to sage yourself before you go into a deep meditation to clear out energy so that you can call back the energy that is you, which I just had to do. I really just had to do that because I've been dealing with a lot of people lately and a lot of emotions. And shit, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. You think you leave everything at the front door, but there's some things, there's some energies that, you know, that they hang on by a thread. And so you got to be able to release those. Got to put your feet in the grass, connect yourself back to the earth, right? So hopefully you guys understand. I know you do. Be honest with yourself, right? That's the only way that you're actually going to heal your intuitive nature. That's the only way that you're going to heal your relationship with yourself. We're talking about your relationship with yourself. Because at the end of the day, the channels, the spirituality, the things that come through you are all a part of you. And you got to heal that aspect with yourself if you want to live and be your absolute best self, right? You got to recognize the ego. You got to recognize the ego, right? Staying in the ego will keep you in that ebb state, right? And so that means that you got to release the mundane. You got to release, you know, this humanity and give way for your spirituality to guide you in how to go about everything that you have to do in your day-to-day life, all right? Y'all, stay on the lookout. I got a product. I'm waiting on my labels to come in. I got a product already. It is a root chakra oil blend. You're going to be able to diffuse it. It can go on your skin. It can go in your bath. You can do anything and everything with it. I'm going to make a complete other video in regards to that. Whenever you purchase the oil, you will actually get an audio meditation for the root chakra as well. I'm doing all 7 chakras. Khadijah actually has some chakra bath salts that she's making. So we'll be able to connect all of that together and just do the work. All right? I love you all. Peace. I'm so glad I made another video. Thank you, Spirit. Always have gratitude for everything, y'all.